So this is the new iPad from Apple. It's called the iPad, or some people have dubbed it as the iPad 2017. Others are calling it the iPad 5, but Apple call it just the iPad. I've got the 32GB space grey version. It comes in 3 different colours. You can also go for silver or gold. And this one comes in at £339, or if you're in the States you get it a lot cheaper. It comes in at $329. So it's a lot cheaper than the iPad Air 2, which is what this replaces. So let's open it up and see what we get inside. So just talking about the specs for this iPad, it comes with the A9 processor. Now that's more than what the iPad Air 2 had. It's a considerable amount faster. It's the same processor, in fact, that we had in the Apple iPhone 6s. So it's not the new ones that they've got in the 7. It's not anywhere near as powerful as what we've got in the Pro, but still it's still nice and a lot more powerful than the iPad Air 2. It also comes with 2GB of RAM, which is good. And thankfully Apple have got rid of that ridiculous 16GB memory. Now their iPad comes in 32GB as the lowest one, which is fantastic. So a lot more space for your games. So here we have the actual iPad itself. It's a bit thicker than the iPad Air 2, but it's quite nice. It's still very thin. If you've had maybe the first iPad Air, you won't notice much of a difference. Or if this is your first iPad, then that won't make too much of a difference. So we'll put that there. You also get in here your manual, and you get a little charging pack there, and your lightning cable. So that's very nice. Apple have always got lovely packaging there. Looking at the iPad itself, we have on there the fingerprint scanner just there. We also have a camera at the front and a camera at the back as well. And we have that lovely metal feeling, metal aluminium body to it, so that is really nice. Looking at the screen itself, it's quite shiny. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this on, have a bit of a play around with it, and then I'll come back and give you a review and tell you what I think to this new iPad. So I've been playing around with the iPad for a couple of days now. And I have to say I'm very impressed with it. I'll take you through a few of the different features. The thing that really worried me was the screen. You might have read that the screen is not laminated, and what that means is the bottom screen is not stuck on to the actual glass. Now this makes a difference because there's a gap of air inside, which means that it's not quite as vivid, not quite as clear and as nice as the laminated screens. And now this is a bit annoying because I can't believe it would have cost Apple more than an extra £1 or £2 maybe to actually have the glue and to actually bond the screen to the glass. I think the reason for not doing it is perhaps because they want to make more of a distinction between this and the iPad Pro, which costs nearly double the amount. That being said, the screen is still fantastic. I think unless you're editing photos on this, or you're very, very critical over your colour and things like that, I don't think you'll notice too much difference in normal day-to-day use. It's still a beautiful, nice screen. It's nice and bright. As you can see, I've got it on full brightness at the moment. It looks fantastic. The other thing to keep in mind with the screen is that it hasn't got any anti-reflective coating on, so you can probably see a bit of a reflection in the screen at the moment. Used outside, yeah, I mean it is a bit of an issue, but it's nothing to stop you from buying this device just because it's not got that. And if it is a problem, you can get things to stick over the top to get rid of the reflections, but it's no big deal really. Nothing worse than some of the other tablets that I've used before. So the screen is nice and beautiful. The device is very snappy. It's got a lovely fingerprint scanner here. If I just switch it off and then back on, I'll show you how quick it is. Straight in there, no passwords or passcodes, which is absolutely fantastic. The 2GB of RAM and the new processor really does make a difference compared to the iPad Air 2 and even the 1. It's a lot faster, a lot snappier. Everything just comes up straight away. You can have loads of different apps open at the same time. Everything's just as quick as this, and away you go. So it's a fantastic device. As you can see, I've got loads of different things open, and there's no waiting, there's no crashes, there's no problems whatsoever. So that's absolutely fantastic. As for the camera, I'm not as impressed with this camera as I thought I would be. Here's some photos taken on the device just before now, and as you can see, it's nice, colours are nice and vivid, but it's not as clear as some of the cameras on some of the iPhones and some of the other iPads, so that's a bit of an issue. And as you will see with this photo taken in the evening time, there's a lot of noise in low light. That's a lot of noise to come up on this picture. It's not clear at all, so it's not fantastic for taking indoor pictures in the evenings. However, that being said, for FaceTime, for Skype, for things like that, it's a good enough camera. It works absolutely fine, and it also takes nice video as well. Nothing that's going to end up being on a cinema screen, but it's good enough for just playing around with, so that's absolutely fantastic. I really do love the feel of this device. The aluminium back is absolutely beautiful. It feels really nice in the hand. I have in the past used different covers for this, but this time I've just got what they call a sleeve or a pocket, so that I can really use this device as it is, because it just feels so nice in the hand, and I feel that they've gone to such lengths to make it fairly thin. It's worth keeping it that way, and so far it seems to be quite resistant to scratches. The screen as well, I'm not going to put a key over it like some people will, because I like to look after my devices, but it, you know, just sliding it across the table or small drops aren't going to make much of a difference. So it's nice and durable. It's got a real premium feel to it. The real thing that really makes this iPad great is the performance. It really is a nice snappy device. You can do multiple things at one time. I've never had to wait for anything on it, so it really is a step up from some of the other iPads. So all in all, yes, this iPad is not as good as the iPad Pro. It's not got as nice a screen, it's not as fast, it's not got the same sort of camera in the back, but it also costs nearly half the price. And besides the not laminating the screen, which is a real annoyance of mine, it is a fantastic iPad, and none of these little niggles is going to get in the way if you're enjoying it. So if you're looking for an iPad, if you're looking to upgrade, especially if you've got something from the iPad Air 1 or older, I would really recommend it. It's a solid device. It works fantastic. There's loads of lovely things about the Apple's ecosystems, and I know you can get all of this with an Android tablet, but it just works so smoothly and seamlessly with the iPad. So in my opinion, it's well worth getting this device. It's fantastic. There are little niggles, but it's not going to get in the way if you're enjoying the device, so it really does get my thumbs up. That's the 2017 iPad, or the iPad 5, whatever you want to call it. Well worth buying.